All right, Dragon Warrior 7. So, I wrote a book about Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, history of Final Fantasy, Japanese RPGs, and their sort of transition to North America. Dragon Quest 7, in fact, the whole Dragon Quest series was something that I didn't have a lot of personal experience with when I was growing up. I didn't have a Nintendo, so I was never given, a free copy of Dragon Warrior through Nintendo Power, the way many people were. And then, of course, it didn't really reappear outside of the NES until Dragon Warrior 7 hit in the late, in the late 90s. And actually 2000, I guess. And by that point, like, I was so deep into the Squaresoft library that I was just, I loved the cinematic ideas that Square was doing at the time. And Dragon Warrior 7 just seemed so sort of archaic and old school. It looked like, closer to Beyond the Beyond than it did to Final Fantasy IX, which was coming out at the same time. And of course, it has been, I would say, a black sheep in the series ever since then. And I think that one aspect that kind of hasn't aged well, but as addressed by the remake that they're working on, but also, hurt the game, hurt the reputation of the game. But that's just the fact that the game plays with structure in a really interesting way, and that makes it really long. But also the way that you're kind of sort of like building out. Oh, hold tight. I noticed that my camera is very. I'm dropping a lot of frames on my camera. Give me 1 sec. There, that might end up being a little better. Let's see if that works a little better. Oh my gosh, it's not mirrored. Ugh, that's weird. Okay, let's see if that works a little bit better. And I'll close out some of this stuff. And so, yeah, as I was saying, the structure of the game was ambitious. It was interesting. I think that ultimately that hurt the game overall in a way that was especially unappealing to North American gamers, especially those who discovered Japanese RPGs via via Final Fantasy, kind of taking off with Final Fantasy VII. It was like just the opposite of what Final Fantasy was doing at the time. And then they, Square and then Square Enix, of course, is sort of like tried to figure out how to like redo Dragon Quest VII. So they did the 3DS version, which I liked, but my issues with it outside of the extended playtime, like it is a slow game. I think I dropped it 35 hours in and had just gotten to the jobs, the job system. But there were also just weird technical issues with that port. The thing that drove me batty was it seemed like the text boxes were rendered for 4:3, but then just stretched out to the 3DS's screen resolution. So you got stretching and you got blurring, and it just was kind of unpleasant to look at. Playing the reimagined demo, it seems like they've kind of finally nailed down that sweet spot to help Dragon Quest VII feel in line with the rest of the games in the series in terms of pacing, in terms of energy, in terms of structure. And I'm really curious to see, like, to continue to get deeper into the game and see how it matches up against, you know, not just my favorites like Dragon Quest, you know, 5 and 11 and 8, but, you know, also the ones that I like but don't love, like Dragon Quest 6. But today I just wanted to check out the PlayStation version of Dragon Warrior 7 because I've never actually played it. I thought it looked really bad back in the day when it first released. Now, though, I love the 3DS games, which were graphically styled, you know, heavily off of 7's look and feel. And I just feel like there might be, you know, there might be something there. Am I going to spend whatever 120 hours playing it? No, I'm not. Not on stream. And not, you know, probably on a real console either. But understanding sort of where the progression of the game over the course of 26 years or whatever is something that I'm really interested in doing. So let's jump in. Let's see what we're working with here. I do have some heavy post-processing, like filters on the game, which might not look great in the stream. Let me turn those off. OSD. Well, I'll turn off this stuff at least. And let's turn off some post-processing as well. When I turn off the overlay, it gets slow. That's strange. Post-processing chain. There we go. That probably looks a little bit better on your end. I can't imagine why this border overlay is required for it to not slow down. But oh, there we go. That looks okay. How's that look, everybody? So the opening here matches up with what I know from the PlayStation, from the 3DS version, and now the reimagined demo. You've got Kiefer and the main character, the hero, coming out from underground where they've got their boat that they're working on. This is just a big slat in the ground, whereas it's in a cave in reimagined, and I believe the 3DS one, but not too different overall. All right, here we go. Cut into Mirabelle and the hero, who I named Hero, which I typically do in Dragon Quest games. Localization seems simple, but also, you know, in line with something like we were seeing in Final Fantasy IX, where it's, you know, fairly straightforward. It's not going to impress on style, but it's also like a far leap ahead of, you know, the early generation localizations or contemporary stuff like Wild Arms 2, which is, you know, unreadable. But Dragon Warrior's always, you know, had decent localizations, and notably, of course, the localization doesn't use any of the more common kind of faux accents that became so tied or expected from the series from sort of the first game, but then was reinvigorated in the Nintendo DS remakes. But yeah, so, you know, I do really have a fondness for this style of graphics for Dragon Quest now. The DS games are some of my favorites. They were what, after Dragon Quest VIII, really introduced me into the series. And it's just fun being able to see, that style here on the PlayStation. It feels very like 2D Super Nintendo RPG. It feels like Dragon Warrior, but, just being able to zoom out, see like more of the world map, or I guess the town map. You do have, a full 3D camera, pretty funky. You have, of course, like the walking sprite. I can reset the camera. What else do we have going on? I can't open my menu yet. Oh, there we go. What did I press? Oh, B. Okay, that's something. Recorder, that must be, oh my gosh. No companion, reorder. Okay, here we go. So what I need to do, I believe, is just go to sleep. One of these, like, great joys in Dragon Warrior games, of course, is being able to break barrels and jars. I love doing that. This, again, as we kind of look at this and think about the fact that this was coming out in around the same time as Final Fantasy IX, just before Final Fantasy X, the fact I'm still going into a menu to interact with items. I guess can I press triangle to interact with stuff? Yeah, okay. So it is skipping the menu-based interactions, which is good. But, it's also using triangle and puts, the menu on B, which just seems insane to me. But let's wander around a little bit. This, the layout of the town here is very similar to what we saw in the reimagined demo, which is telling me that, a lot of the bones of the game are still here. It still feels and looks like the same game. I know how to get around this town. I know where I'm going. This isn't a major reimagining the way, say, Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake or Dragon Warrior 3 remake was. Like the HD 2D games. Oh, I can look at that. Slide sideways. Ooh, oh my gosh. What is happening? Got a leather hat. How do I, let's put it on. Item. Cast. Is that spells? Yeah. Look. That's just looking around the environment. Info. Okay. So info is like sex, man. Okay. There's the time. I've been playing for 7 minutes. Did I get that? Yeah. Treasure chest. Got some gold. But how do I equip my hat? Item? Hero? Okay. Yeah, this is excellent. So there's no like equipment screen. It's just like you have your item screen and then you can equip stuff from there, which is a mood. It's fine. It is what it is. He slept in for the Pilchard Bay festival, the Pilchard Festival. So, the town here is called Amit, the Amit Harvest. That has been changed in reimagined to Pilchard, and probably the 3DS one. So I need to go find my dad, who's going off to do like a big fishing trip, which is part of the Pilchard Bay Festival. I'll try to like signify or point out where in the newest reimagined demo you kind of hit your first battle, but it's unlikely that today I will manage to get into any combat, which a lot of people use as a knock against this game or attribute to like the reason it's kind of a black sheep or divisive, but I don't mind that. I play a lot of RPGs because I like story, because I like characters. I don't mind wandering around and doing story stuff. It's the fact, or it's, just balance of gameplay, right? This game is just big and bloated and long, and structurally it has a lot of issues. To me, taking a while to get to the first combat, that's not really a big deal. I'm curious about combat early in games, but a lot of the time with, like, exceptions, combat's generally part of RPGs that I kind of just want to get through so that I can get back to exploring and partaking in side quests or the main quests and stories and all that fun stuff. A fish sub. Who doesn't love a fish sub? So in the, in Reimagine, this is called a pilchard sandwich. It's made out of his favorite type of fish. And that's a level of, like, added world building detail, I would say, that you were starting to see in Dragon Quest later in the series, or not even later in the series, but like later in the series lifespan of releases, in terms of, like, just adding a little bit of character and personality to how the how the game was just portrayed, or like the game world was portrayed, and just giving like a little bit of sorry, I'm just yeah, there we go. I was just rendering the internal resolution for my monitor that I have here, which should make it a lot crisper and nicer to look at. But in any case, just world building, like, instead of it just being a fish sub, it's a pilchard sandwich, and he loves pilchards, and that's what he's going out to sea to catch. Like, it's what their village makes, their livelihood off of. And those little touches, I think, are really important for Dragon Quest. Like, it's, as it moves into being really like vignette focused, really caring about those communities that you're coming into and saving and helping, makes a big difference when you understand and feel and see all of the small details that make up and make those communities, like, unique against others and not just generic. So, like, something like a fish sub is just a generic sandwich. But once you get into naming the sandwich after the actual place it's from, the fish that they make their livelihood off of, you just get, in my opinion, something that's just a little bit more unique, a little bit more memorable. I was trying to see if I could save, but I guess not. So rendering this up to, like, this is 1440p, it looks pretty nice. It's interesting, though, because when I open any sort of dialogue, it must capture, like, you see the resolution drops, which is really interesting. So this here is my friend Maribel's house. I could go in there and check it out. I got a free donut because he likes my dad. All right. Ooh, and an Amit snack. Okay. Excellent. Good stuff. So as you can no doubt see, my friend Maribel is, I believe she's the mayor's daughter, and she's obviously wealthy because she lives in this fancy house. Just like wealthy people do, I suppose. Okay. Okay. I lost track of my comments. I'm trying to figure out how to get them back. Here we go. I can't see chat. Hi, chat. I can't see you. There we go. Okay, yeah. Oh, Ty's joined us. I've read, JRPG protagonist sleeping in on the day of the start of their journey. It is very, Chrono Trigger like, which of course Yuji Horii was heavily involved in this and that as well. One of the things, so like I need to go talk to my dad, get on the boat. I'm trying to go fishing with him, and he doesn't let me, and then I go off on an adventure, blah blah blah. But one of the things that I really like about specifically the Dragon Warrior series, Dragon Quest series, is that it really encourages you to take your time and explore and talk to people. And lots of RPGs do that. It's not like unique to the genre, but I think that Dragon Quest rewards you for exploring and speaking to the people that you find and looking through nooks and crannies. I think it rewards you really well. And so I enjoy doing it in a way that isn't always necessarily true of other RPG series. So let's go get on the boat. I am dawdling a little bit, but we can carry on here with the rest of the plot by talking to my dad. Who's this guy? Borcano's probably right. Oh, is that not my dad? But I'm not too sure about changing the regular fishing spot. Oh yeah, okay. So he's talking to Maribel's dad, I assume, who's the mayor. Borcano, who's the main character's father, wants to go to a new fishing spot. And the mayor's like, nah, I don't really want to do that. Let's go to the regular one. But Borcano kind of has a feeling. He's like the fisher dude. Okay. He's ragging on the main character for taking too long with his sandwich, which I get. When you're hungry, you're hungry. Okay, so ultimately I'm trying to find Maribel. She's hiding somewhere. I don't know that I'm looking for Maribel yet, but I'll figure that out pretty quick. Ooh, I accidentally went back up the stairs. So the Pilchard Harvest, or the Amit Harvest, I guess, is like a celebratory day where the fishermen in the village go out looking to try to, capture the big haul of fish for the season. And so Hiro's dad is the main fisherman. His friend Maribel, her dad is the mayor. They both want to go. Hiro's dad's sort of like, nah, like, you'd slow us down. Maribel, of course, isn't allowed to go as the daughter of the mayor, and presumably a woman. But she is trying to hide. And I think you can all spot where maybe she's hiding. So they're talking here about my uncle, who's sort of a ne'er-do-well, who lives in the town nearby, and does, of course, become more of a plot fixture in the early part of the game coming up. So the head cook, as opposed to the sous chef, I guess, on a boat, caught Maribel trying to stow away again. And so she's very fiery, very, like, she wants to get on with things. Doesn't want to take no for an answer. And now he's, she's trying to flatter him, but it's not working. And so they get kicked off the boat here. And that allows my adventure to start rather innocently. You moron. Yeah. So Maribel knows about the secret base that the protagonist, Hiro, and his friend Kiefer have been keeping. It's a spot where they are working on restoring an old boat that they found, because they are certain, Kiefer in particular, we're going to meet him fairly soon, I expect, is certain there are other islands out in this world. And so this is a world where this island that they live on, it has like this small village and then the castle town. And they think they're the only ones. It's just them and ocean. And so their understanding is that they're the only island in the world. There's no other people. But Kiefer believes there's more. And so he's determined to go find it. And that's what's going to propel a lot of the choices early on in the game, is Kiefer sort of like actively pushing them forward towards adventure. Hero sort of tagging along passively, but Maribel also inserting herself as often and frequently and forcefully as possible, which is a fun dynamic. It's a good little group of characters. All right, we're back. So I'm gonna go try to find Maribel. She's mad at me because I got her caught, which fair enough. So she doesn't want to talk to me. Oh, is she here in this version? So I'm going to, like, a lot of like my understanding and recollection about the story is from playing the demo of Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, which dropped fairly recently. And at this point, the experiences are almost identical. One thing that I really like about the remaster, now having spent 20 minutes with this game, is this graphical style is very unique, and as I said earlier, I didn't care for it at first when like back when this game came out. I thought it was bad. I like it a lot more now. The 3DS game did not really capture this vibe. The isometric camera and the character proportions and all that kind of stuff, which is okay. The 3DS version looks good. And it matches up with like more contemporary Dragon Quest games like Dragon Quest VIII or eventually Dragon Quest XI. But what Reimagined really does is takes this style, this look, this feel, and translates it into something that feels modern and fun and has strong character of its own, like using sort of the miniatures, the puppet style, the diorama style. It works really well to grab onto what this game was doing with its graphics at the time, but making it feel relevant. So it feels true to what it was, while also feeling like it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. The demo is so good and so fabulous, and being able to marry those two styles, I think, is really impressive. So Hero's just been called to the castle to speak with the king. Maribel wants to go with him. I can say yes or no. I'm going to say no, and as you probably can imagine, Maribel's not really going to take kindly to that. So she is, going to just barge in. Thank you, Banford. Banford says, lurking well at a comedy show, here to prove your wife wrong. Thank you. We're doing it. We're going to show her that the children, the people, they yearn for Aidan playing Dragon Warrior VII on a Sunday morning. Okay, so Maribel joined my party, which is cool. Got another character. We are probably going to find out that doesn't really matter for quite a while, because, again, the start of this game is so, like, drawn out towards narrative and story that, it's not like we're in a lot of combat and I'm going to suddenly have to, worry about, just having more ability to withstand damage or whatever, or just spread damage out and stuff. So the item system, super clunky. It's very similar to something like Suikoden. Each character has their own inventory bag, which I assume is limited, space limited. And then there's like a party bag, which can hold stuff as well. Equipped items are part of each character's sort of item limit. So that is, very limited in terms of what we can, pull off, what we bring into battle. Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest have always been very like resource dependent, and so a lot of their challenge comes from like, you have limited resources, you have your MP, you have your health, like how far can you make it in to a dungeon before sort of having to pull back, regroup back in town, maybe buy a bit more equipment, stock up on whatever healing items, and then keep going. And so that changes quite dramatically when you have item limits and like character inventory that may or may not be available in combat. It also means I will probably forget to equip new equipment as I get it. Even Suikoden had, like an equipment screen, but this is just it's a bag and you equip it right in the bag, which is rough. So Maribel's basically saying like, I'm better than you, so don't take advantage of that. There's a fine line between being sociable and being annoying. That's a good point. All right, here we go. I'm going to go see if I can save now. Not that it really matters. I can play it on emulator. I could just save state, but curious to see. You're 16 by now. If you don't stop playing around with Prince Kiefer, you're going to end up just like your uncle. Okay. Thanks. Very nice. So yeah, saving, you can save at churches. There's obviously not a lot of, other options for quick saves or anything like that. There's not auto saves. This is a PlayStation RPG. You're writing straight to a memory card. And again, like, given the length and breadth and, just density of this game, like save spots, I imagine, are few and far between. And so you kind of really have to, if you're not playing on emulator, you really got to lean into like having a chunk of time set aside for a play session. One thing I wanted to do was check out some of the other options here. So we have Detox and Revive and Uncurse, which are all fairly similar or like fairly straightforward. I think we have Detox and Revive in the reimagined churches and save, of course, but we don't have Oracle. So Oracle, yeah, this is how we find out how many experience points we need to reach the next level, which was sort of a mainstay in the Dragon Quest games for a long time, but now it's been integrated in a more common, just, status screen, stat. But like info, here's what we have. So info, hero, Fisher's son, that will be his class. There is a class and job system in this game. You just don't unlock it until like 40 hours in. His sex is man, which we touched on earlier, which is great. Maribel, fish daughter, her sex is woman. Okay. Man, woman, the two genders. So, world map. Here we go. So the first thing I notice is that, the world map is pretty nice. It's vibrant, lots of colors. Like, you gotta love Dragon Quest because it's always been colorful. Lots of primary colors. It just looks and feels good to wander around in the world, right? But where I want to, what I want to do, I need to go north. I think, is that the castle? So the world map is very different than in Reimagined. Everything in Reimagined, it's very close together. It's almost like Chrono Trigger's map. in terms of like it's a really stylized, a really abstracted world map that's basically just like point to point, with a little bit of like, you know, fluff. Whereas this is like a more traditional like world map of the time where you have like long distances between different towns. You can't see the next town as soon as you leave the first one, which is fine. I can go in this well, which is funky. I love going down wells in Dragon Quest games. Nothing there. This little hut doesn't exist in Reimagined. So, no, yeah, none of this is in Reimagined. Okay, so he's asking, are we from the town of Esterd, which is where the like castle is? It's the main city on this island. He's saying there's been someone causing trouble there. Yes, his name is Hondara, which I assume is the hero's uncle. He has a different name. I think he's called Pike in later versions of the game. But yeah, none of this happens in Reimagined. So that's interesting. He's kind of saying like, you know, he can speak the language of the animals because he lives in the forest with them. And I do wonder if there's like sort of a seeding of information about the job system in this game. You know, something like, you know, if maybe there's a Beastmaster class that you can get. And, you know, meeting people along the way that sort of like tell you a little bit about what those classes do. Kind of a fun way of, you know, like hinting at the job system without like outright telling people about it. And, you know, 40 hours is a very long time to get to a job system, but I also sort of admire the idea that they recognize that like, hey, you've just played this, you know, RPG for 30, 40 hours. You've kind of seen everything there is to see in the generic version of it. Here's a job system, like stick around for another 60. I don't think it's a good choice, but I admire it. So we need to go to Esterd, looking for our friend Kiefer, who in the Reimagined version we sort of get introduced to vaguely right away, but in this version we've only heard reference to him. This is the shrine that later in the game, not even later in the game, later in the plot, probably fairly imminently becomes very important. This whole map layout is different. And in Reimagined, there are enemies wandering around. And so it, like, you know, like Chrono Trigger, like lots of other RPGs, has on-screen enemies. You bump into them, you fight a battle. You can also swing your sword and hit them, and if you hit them before battle starts, you'll do a little bit of extra damage to them. If you hit them and you're high enough level up, like above them, then they'll just get like wiped out and defeated immediately. You get gold and experience and vocation points, like job points, but at a reduced rate. It's a pretty nice happy medium. In this version, as you can see, there's not even random battles right now on the map. And so, are there random battles on the map? You know what? There aren't any battles on the map on this island in Reimagined. That's right. You don't start your first battle until you're kind of going on a quest with Kiefer. So here we are in Esterd. This is the main town on the island. It's obviously a lot more developed. It's not like a quiet little fishing village. It's more than that, or bigger than that, I guess, is more, it's, you know, like a better description. But Maribel's off to see somebody. In Reimagined, she's off to see some boy in the weapon shop that she's, flirting with. I assume it's something similar in this game, this version. So we're in the castle town of Esterd. Oh my, looks like your girlfriend left you behind. Yeah, so you have all the townsfolk saying townsfolky stuff. Yes, so Orca runs the weapon shop. They're saying something about his new girlfriend, who is obviously Maribel. The layout of this town is again, just like Pilchard, very, very similar, almost identical to what we see in Reimagined. There's some more like details here and there in Reimagined. A few extra pots to break and stuff like that, but for the most part, it is 1-to-1. Yeah, he's not too happy about that. It's funny how I can come back here, smash his barrel, and was there an item in the barrel? Can't even remember. But yeah, so it's, it's simplified compared to the newest version, but it's, it's pretty close. Like, I know exactly where the weapon shop is, right here. I know where my uncle's house is, which is this right here. There he is. Ooh, I can break his bottles. Take that, uncle. His uncle is not a very nice guy. He's deeply asleep. I wonder why. What was he doing last night? Let's break all his bottles. Like I said, nothing like breaking bottles, breaking cans, breaking barrels in a Dragon Quest game. So I could go into the weapon shop, but I can't actually buy anything in the weapon shop right now because Maribel's chatting up the proprietor. So I will just go onto the castle and can kind of continue on with the plot. Oh, this is interesting. So I can buy some equipment. So and it does show me which is better, which is nice. So some traveler's clothes, I could buy that. Who will carry it? Hero, equip it. So, I wouldn't call these quality of life features, but they're at least a little bit, there's at least a little bit there that's sort of like helping us along. Oh my gosh, my style changed from 12 to 0 and people don't like my pot lid. Rude. I don't want to buy. I probably just want to sell some stuff. I assume there's more limited. Because I assume there's more limited inventory space, at least on characters, I feel like I should probably, this is something that I would want to start selling stuff, but at the same time, I'm always so wary of doing that in case 30 or 40 hours in, you have a crafting system that just appears out of nowhere. But, I like console RPGs, so quite obviously I hoard all my items just like everybody. So there's Maribel talking to her bud. Oh, look at that. She's using me against Orca. He doesn't like me. Won't sell me weapons. The king is waiting for me. It's fancy. I'm fancy like that. So the castle, these are castle guards. And their funny little huts. There's just something about being in a castle in Dragon Quest that just feels good. Just feels right. They always look exactly the same. But it's just funny, like the way that Dragon Quest kind of sets itself apart from. Oh, I should have bought that leather shield instead of my pot lid, man. But the way that Dragon Quest sort of like so confidently carries forward just the look and feel and expectations with each entry, and isn't afraid to have this exact same, generic characters. Towns in Dragon Quest still look exactly the same from title to title to title. The fact that they're confident enough to do that, whereas Final Fantasy, on the other side, sort of took this route of like, oh, we have to reinvent ourselves with every new entry. Every setting has to be different. Gameplay structure has to be different. Systems have to be different. It's just a really interesting way of looking at sort of the legacy of that like console RPG space that Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy not tried, but like established back in the 80s, and how one is sort of interested in iteration and sort of like slow improvement and exploring sort of like space within expectations and limitations, and another one that is very much trying to reinvent the wheel every time. And I think most people would say that like, Final Fantasy's highs are very high, but then its lows are very low, whereas Dragon Quest, its lows are just, it doesn't, like, it's Dragon Quest VII, which is like, oh, it's too long, or it doesn't really have those valleys, those like development issues, for instance, that stuff like Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 15 have had. It didn't try to it did try to, actually. I was going to say it didn't try to reinvent itself into an action game, but it did with Dragon Quest IX, which had like more of an action-based combat system in the field, before that got kind of blowback from fans saying, what is this? This isn't Dragon Quest. And they ended up switching that back around and making it into a more typical turn-based, battle system. You can run into, hey, Ender, thanks for coming, helping me out with those numbers. I'm going to impress my wife, no matter what. This is going to happen. But yeah, so Dragon Quest IX went from trying to be an action game to just being a typical, straightforward, turn-based RPG, and I think that just tells you so much of what people are looking for from those two series. And I think that Final Fantasy sort of overestimates the necessity to quote-unquote reinvent itself with every title. I think that's actually just a thing that they started telling themselves after Sakaguchi left. And they didn't have one like defined person who was setting the tone or setting the direction for the series anymore. I'm curious about Dragon Quest 12 now, though. It's been, it was announced and there was a teaser a few years ago now. I've heard a little bit here and there about what's going on. But I'm curious to see, like what is taking so long? Is it just because it's going to be a big game like Dragon Quest 11? Or is it, is there more coming? Obviously, the tone of the teaser was very different. It looked darker, but, what does that mean for Dragon Quest? Dragon Quest has had some pretty dark moments and vignettes. Dragon Quest VII, I think in particular, has some like distinct moments of darkness. And then, of course, also many of the main creators of Dragon Quest, kind of creative forces like Akira Toriyama, who, has defined the look of the series since the beginning, and Koichi Sugiyama, whose music is, tied to the series, even if, I'm not a big Sugiyama fan of many other aspects of his life. But they're both gone, and what does that mean going forward? And I think in some ways, watching them experiment with these remakes, with Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, with the HD 2D games, is almost like watching them try to figure that out in real time. And they've all been great, and it tells me that the series is in good hands right now. Okay, so the king is asking me to look into his eyes. He sat me in his throne, which is impressive. And now he's saying, you're hiding something from me, aren't you? What do I say? Yes or no? What do I tell the king? I'm going to say no. I'm not hiding anything from him. Do not feign ignorance. I can see a glint of intelligence in your eyes, notably absent from my loyal subjects. So Kiefer has been restless lately, almost as if he were driven by some unforeseen force. It's the boat. And he carried off with a ring, which was an important keepsake from the queen. In Reimagined, this is actually one of the stone tablets that you need to collect. So that's somewhere where they've like really condensed the plot down. Is that they've just straight up given Kiefer one of the key items that you need to sort of like get the adventure going. So his mom passed away, and now Kiefer's sort of been, you know, doing his thing and driving the king crazy because he's not sort of like focused on being a prince. Taste for wine, women, and adventure. So he wants me to do his dirty work. To talk to Kiefer. Tell Kiefer to smarten up. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Have a feeling that's not going to happen. So now I need to go find Kiefer. I could explore the castle more. Some good stuff in the castle. Some paintings. But realistically, just... Oh, hey, what's down here? Oh, yeah, this is in Reimagine as well. It's like the cells. Realistically, however, just going to find Kiefer is the next step for me. So this, like, to me is an interesting look at sort of Dragon Quest VII's structure, and what it expects of you is the king has asked you to go talk to Kiefer. Say, hey, smarten up. Doesn't tell you where Kiefer is. Doesn't tell you where you might find him. You're just sort of like meant to explore and figure that out on your own. And, you know, the game world is small right now, but it does sort of have that open-endedness of some of the, you know, computer RPGs, tabletop RPG gameplay style that really influenced Dragon Quest way back in the beginning. It's not railroading you along in a way that, you know, as much as I love them, the Final Fantasy games on the PlayStation really are quite linear. They railroad you through environments. They railroad you through the plot. They tell you where to go next. You're sort of like, you know, pushed towards conclusion. And, you know, it works really well. And it, you know, it works for what those games are and want to be. But Dragon Quest shows a different side of that, where it kind of expects or encourages the player to like live in the world a little bit more. And that also, you know, is part of what will make a game like Dragon Quest VII so big and long and take so long to open up. But also spending time in the world is also enjoyable. And so is that really like a bad thing, I guess? So I'm looking for Kiefer. I have a feeling I'll find him maybe back at our little secret hiding spot. So they've like piled jars around our little spot. Kiefer's not here though. So that heavy stone lid, I need at least 2 people to lift. So I can't lift it without Kiefer. But let's smash some barrels. And then try to find Kiefer. Maybe, is my mic picking up those button clicks? Probably. I'll try to move my controller away a little bit. So one thing that I have noticed about Reimagined versus this game is that Reimagined like really leans in, like this is fairly generic, like beach town. You have the whitewashed buildings and stuff sort of giving it that like Greek feel, Mediterranean feel. But the new game like really leans into that. really like just gives it a vibe that sets it apart even from like other beach towns, in a way that I think is, just appealing. The prince came looking for you a while ago. He apparently didn't know you were summoned to the castle. He might still be around here. Why don't you look for him? Okay. So we're looking for Kiefer. I think she said he might still be around here. That's not Kiefer. Oh, look at, there's this back door to Mirabelle's house. He might be here with her. She wasn't. If you're looking for Mirabelle, she should be back home. Yeah, so we might just be. Maybe they're both here. There's Mirabelle. Where's Kiefer? Oh, hero, did you come because you were worried about whether I made it home okay? You don't need to worry. Orca walked me home without even having to ask. By the way, I saw Prince Kiefer hanging out around here again a little while ago. You guys plotting something again? You two are always going off and whispering together. It's really suspicious. You'll never be able to fool me, though. She's a smart cookie. Okay. Just a little with the clicky-clacky of the buttons. Yeah, hopefully that's a little better. I did get a new controller. It's great. It's an 8-bit dough. What is it? 8-bit dough. Pro 3. Works really nicely. It feels great. It is a little clicky, which is fine when you're not streaming. I wonder if Kiefer's just like in my house. Maybe he's hanging out in my bedroom. When I was a teenager, if my friends weren't home, we'd just kind of hang out in their bedroom until they got home. It was strange. Where's the Keef? Kiefer, did he just let himself go? I have a message for you from Prince Kiefer. I'll be waiting at the usual place. He said you'd know what he meant. That's all. Okay. So I just had to trigger that conversation, I suppose. Which is honestly a little irritating. But again, I guess it comes back to what I was talking about earlier with the game sort of encouraging you to live in the world and take your time and explore. Wait, he's not here though. Where's the usual place? Oh my gosh. We'll meet at the usual place. I don't know where it is, but it's not our secret hiding spot. Oh my gosh, Kiefer. Maybe she's seen Kiefer. I doubt it's the church. Kiefer doesn't seem like the type to hang out in churches. Is he at Mirabelle's house now? The reimagined, like, oh, I can climb up there. Maybe he's up there. Reimagined absolutely, like, streamlines a lot of this type of stuff. where like I'm just not really entirely sure where Kiefer is. And like if I spend 5 minutes, looking around for him right now, or however long it's going to be, that adds up over time. I doubt he's in that random house. It said he'd be the place that I'd know, but that would be our little hideout, but he wasn't there. There's only so many places he could be. Is he hiding behind some barrels? Okay, let's try to, like, I guess, leave. I'll check this last house. I have a hard time believing he'd be in a random house, though. Have you seen Kiefer? Is he at that guy's house? I don't think. Oh, I know where he might be. Wait. The shrine? No. Why would he be here? What? How would I know to come here? Okay, in any case. I think that was some bad signposting in Pilchard or Amit or whatever it's called in this version. Everybody kept saying, "Oh, he's about here. I just saw him. Like, you should look around for him. He's where he said he'll be where you'll know." And then he's at a place that, like, the only reason I know this exists is because I have played other versions of the game, but also because I went exploring early, but wasn't allowed to come in here. Maribel said I wasn't allowed to come in here, so I feel like maybe his note should have said, like, "Hey, come find me at that place in the forest," something like that. Okay, I wasn't sure if you make it here safely on your own. There's no bad guys, so I don't know why everyone's so worried about that. Okay, he kind of apologizes and says, I wasn't going to tell your mom we were going to meet here, but still. Okay, look at, Kiefer does have one of the ancient stone tablets here, which is interesting. I thought maybe that was a new addition. Let's use it. Open the tablet. An image of a staff held aloft by a sage is depicted. The staff radiates with light. The rest of the pages show images of tablets, but they're all in an ancient language and cannot be read. What a strange statue. Okay. If we do something with a statue, it might find the answer we're looking for. I have a feeling that the sun is the key to all this. That's why I brought this. Ta-da! The royal family's legendary sunstone ring. So that's the ring he kind of stole. That was his mom's ring. If we put it on the statue, I'm certain something will happen. I do love old, like, RPGs, because Kiefer's like, "Hey, I got this thing. I think the sun is the key." There's, like, no evidence that the sun would have anything to do with any of this. But We'll see. Who cares if this has been deemed a forbidden zone? If they knew that something of an interest lay within its borders, why would the scholars let something as arbitrary as a label prevent them from discovering the truth? Not content with being an all-powerful prince, Kiefer wants to change his fate. I guess when you think you're the only island in the world, it's not as easy as just going off to become a pirate. So this is definitely somewhere in the reimagined demo where he kind of tries to activate the statue and then it doesn't work. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we just need to leave. And then the statue at this point, I believe, starts talking and saying, hey, like, you got to do this for me. Go find the ancient stone tablets. And then it like marks it on your map. Because that's another big difference is that there's a lot more signposting, just straight up like signposting in the new version where it just shows you where to go next with a little like icon on your map. You can turn some of it off, but a lot of it's just like baked in. And sometimes, you know, honestly, it's helpful because this original version of the game doesn't have a lot of it. And if you want to speed things up and make the game a little more palatable in the age of, you know, Clair Obscur being as big as it is, you know, you want to kind of continue to kind of snag that sort of audience. I think, you know, making things more accessible, or at least making information or knowledge more accessible on like a basis of like give player agency, allow them to turn that stuff off if they don't want it, access it if they do. And I have no problem with that. So she asked if I had a good day with Prince Kiefer. I did. I'm not actually sure what is next, but we'll take a rest, I think. We're also waiting for Hero's dad to get home. I believe he has one of the other stone tablet things that we end up needing. Okay. But I'm not sure. This feels like a point where the two games are diverging a fair bit. See what Maribel's up to. You're being unusually nice today. I'll take a look at it. Maybe you should show it to the old man at the item shop. Okay, let's do it. Coming for you, old man at the item shop. That would be this guy, I think, unless there's an old man inside. Welcome, this is the general store. What do you plan to buy today? There's an old lady. You and my husband. Only men in the village right now. Isn't there an old guy outside? You might want to try that weird old man that lives on the cliff by Esterd. He's an ill-tempered old coot, but people say he's very wise. Okay. So like that guy is in the new version, but you don't need to get this tome translated or anything. Now, and I wonder, is that, I don't think it's this guy. That's like, because that's not near Esther. In the new version, this guy's house is on the map, giving you an idea of how to get there. You have to like go down through like a cave. I don't know if that's the same here. We'll find out. One thing I think is interesting is you have all these people and they're talking about how this is like the only island in the world. And then it makes me wonder, like, you know, if there was a single island in the world, would they have the word island, or would it just be home or whatever? And so then, you know, I kind of wonder, like, does that mean that like there is some sort of hidden, you know, latent memory of what the world was before? Because obviously there is more to the world than just this one island in Dragon Quest VII. Just kind of, it's just an interesting kind of world building exercise, I suppose. So these people rent the house to the hero's uncle. I just don't know how to get to that hut. I guess maybe it's the animal guy. Let's at least go talk to the animal guy, I suppose. But yeah, in the reimagined version, you get to his house through Esther. There's like a stairwell, and you kind of go down through a cave to a cliff. Which I just don't... Oh, there. Okay, I can go downstairs. Right. I had already been down there. There's nothing down there. So as you can see, like, definitely a lot of wandering around in this game, trying to figure out what to do next, which adds to like a lot of the playtime compared to the new version. I wonder, like, you know, what this looks like for somebody who knows the game really well, how quickly they're getting through the opening of Dragon Quest VII compared to, you know, somebody like me who's familiar with remakes of the game but not familiar with the actual original version of the game. Okay, back in Esther. I want to see. So, I've been playing for an hour and 7 minutes, and you know, for the record, there has been no combat yet. If anybody's keeping track. Though, at least in Reimagined, the first bit of combat in that game does, you know, happen not long after the point I'm at in the story. You know that old man who lives on the cliff in this town? No, I do not. Tell me about him. You don't know the old man. He lives on the cliff at the end of the underground path. Well, I was nice enough to bring food to him, but he just spit it on the floor and said it was disgusting before dismissing me. Sounds like having dinner with my kids. With an attitude like that, it's no wonder he's isolated. So there was this well. I can go down this well, but they won't let me. Oh, wait. Yeah, they won't let me. So how do I get... it's on a different side of town. Interesting. So this is on the... this stairwell is on the opposite side of town in Reimagined, which is funny. Same idea, same concept, but yeah, just different part of town. And there's like no visual indicator in this version of the game that, you know, there's this house here, whereas the world map in Reimagined is very, very tight, and makes it very clear that there's a house you can go down to. In fact, they even put a sparkling item down there to say, hey, this isn't just like a little detail. This isn't just for fun. This is somewhere that you can actually like go. And I do think that like signposts like that are generally helpful. Like whether you think like modern games hold hands too much, too frequently, is, you know, a great topic for debate for sure. But I do just think there's, you know, some stuff that's just helpful. Carrots can just be helpful. Don't tell me exactly where to go or how to get there, but like, you know, things you can do to draw the eye or draw attention can be good. I'm realizing now there's no sound coming through. None of the music or anything. I don't want it too high, but I might as well. There we go. I'm still learning. Part of the reason I'm doing these streams is because I've completely rejigged the Fun Factor production stack for making shows, for recording them, specifically to be able to stream them live to Fun Factor Ultra members, and also streamline the process for making like the video versions of the show that we put up on YouTube. And so learning how to, we were using Riverside, which, you know, did its basic functions quite well, but also has just been jamming AI nonsense down our throats. And that actually caused a huge issue for Ty and I as we were doing some video production with the Riverside stuff. And so we bit the bullet. I actually got a new computer which can handle this stuff. And so, you know, I've been learning OBS and running, you know, basically just producing the show with a whole bunch of tools through OBS and Premiere, using it, you know, Premiere to cut up the final episode and stuff. And it's been really rewarding, but I'm still learning, still figuring this stuff out. Just yesterday, I figured out how to isolate my voice from the desktop audio because we were having issues with Ty echoing, because his audio was being pumped in through his video feed and through my, you know, my monitor, basically, like my audio monitor. And then we'd get double Ty, so then I had to turn my audio monitor off, so then I couldn't hear my monitor, which was irritating in its own way. But I'm getting there, learning, figuring this out, one little bit at a time. Okay, so I'm showing this old guy the tome that Kiefer gave me. Let's see what he has to say. He's not a very, like, nice guy. I can tell you that much. Why would I care about some old beat-up book? I don't know, like you're a hermit who lives in a cliff cave surrounded by books? 500, no. He wants to give me, oh, I see. I'll give you 500 gold for anything to get you out of my house. No, I'm not trying to sell it to him. I see, he's a grifter. He's an old grifter. Where did you come across this book? I thought the prince was a little thick, but it seems the castle scholars are even thicker. He wants to keep it and translate it. I'll get to work deciphering this text right now. Come back in a little while. Okay. So this, again, this is an instance. This doesn't happen in Reimagined, but it doesn't tell you what's next. It says, okay, this part's over. Come back later. Now, most games nowadays, and Reimagined even, you know, would cut in with a cutscene and be like, hey, now let's go do this. Why don't we check in with your uncle? Or, you know, some inciting incident would crop up out of nowhere as soon as I left the house or left this tunnel and got back, you know, into the open world. But Dragon Quest VII wants me to figure it out by talking to people. And that's okay. It's not for everyone. But, you know, it is part of this opening 4 hours is about role play, as in living in the world and taking your time and exploring. And it's like an adventure game. It's a narrative game as much as it is anything else. So I saw Prince Kiefer run through town just now. I wonder why he was in such a hurry. Okay, he's just telling me about... Like, do I really just have to, like, kill time now? Back when I was about your age, there was a guy who ran around the island just like the prince. Then one day, he just disappeared. We pondered his fate, but sadly, we arrived at no viable conclusion and just went back to smoking. Smoking. Okay. Man, the 90s, wild time. So, I'm just supposed to, like, wait, but, like, wait how much? Do I just, like, literally wait and have to, like, transfer screens a few times? Or do I have to, like, hit a plot point? Maybe I'll go back to my town and talk to Maribel, see what she's doing. Talking to, like, the main key characters seems to be a good way to progress the plot in this game. So now I'm hearing about my uncle trying to sell some weird stone. 5,000 gold. Yeah, his uncle, who we haven't met yet, he's a character. Okay, what is next? Let's go back to Pilchard or Hammett. Talk to Maribel. At some point, I assume, Hiro's dad is also going to return, because that was a big plot point, and you know, is not a huge plot point in the original game, but is kind of relevant and pushes things forward to a degree in Reimagined. And the fact that they made a big deal of it early on in this game tells me it's, you know, my dad returning will be a thing. Alright. Guess you're telling the truth. You don't seem like you're lying. Okay. Well, I'll go back home? Sleep? One thing I find interesting is the backgrounds in this. It reminds me, it has this dithered gradient. I don't know if that's coming through on stream, but it has like a dithered gradient. It reminds me a lot of the Final Fantasy Tactics remake, actually. And this would have come out after the original Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's a pretty effective look. And what's, you know, funny is I talk about how I was like not into the graphics in this game. But I loved Final Fantasy Tactics, and, you know, something like Xenogears I was huge into. And they were, you know, similar in, you know, tech stack, right? Like, you know, sprites over 3D backgrounds. There's like a wobbliness to Dragon Quest VII's graphics. I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's because of like the floating point stuff on the PlayStation and textures and polygons and stuff. But that always just felt weird to me. But like now playing through this, like I love this look. Like I think this game is beautiful. And I'm kind of sorry that I gave it such a hard time back in the day. You know, I don't know if I would have loved Dragon Warrior 7 on the PlayStation in the year 2000. Like, I was definitely like so enamored by the Squaresoft stuff and the direction they were taking, you know, RPGs and cinematic RPGs. But to me, like, there's absolutely a place for this style of, you know, 2D, not 2D, I guess it is 3D, but this style of like RPG, and it has such a place, and I'm so happy to see things like Reimagined, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, you know, exist and saying in 2026, like, hey, this style of like isometric, like abstracted RPG still has a place. It still has value. It still looks good. It's still fun to explore these worlds. It's still like just a completely viable way to execute on a big RPG. And that makes me happy. Because I think that, like, for a long time, especially through, like, the PlayStation 3 era, Xbox 360 era, when the Wii was doing its thing, like, we just sort of, like, lost, you know, this idea that RPGs weren't like this because they had to be, necessarily. But because it was, you know, technical limitations might have, you know, created some of this, the necessity for, you know, RPGs to be like this. But like Final Fantasy VII or the like pre-rendered backgrounds weren't like de facto just better, right? It wasn't replacing something with an objectively better experience. It was a different experience. But, you know, at the time I didn't really see the value in something like Dragon Quest VII. It wasn't until Dragon Quest VIII that I was like, okay, I need that game. But I also needed that game because it came with Final Fantasy XII demo. And I just, yeah, I don't know. It's just too bad, like, that I missed out on a game like this for so long. I think I really would have dug this, especially if I had been able to, like, go back to it after playing the Nintendo DS ones, which borrow so heavily from Dragon Warrior 7, like this PlayStation version of Dragon Warrior 7. I'm lost. I'm stuck in the castle. How do I get out of here? I need to go down. I just want to... Oh, there. Stairs down. Oh, yes. Yes. I did it. I did it, chat. Okay. Maybe I need to talk to the... is that the king? No. Is it even meaningful? Hey, no. I don't know. Maybe I'll go talk to the guy again. Okay. It's interesting for me watching. I have the YouTube stream up. See how far behind it is compared to where I am. I wonder if that's something I can improve or needs to be improved. Is there a way, maybe somebody can tell me, but like right now I have like YouTube open in a, like the YouTube like Creator Studio window open in a web browser so I can see chat. Is there a way I can get my chat panel in OBS? I have YouTube Live control panel so I can see how many people are viewing. I can see the stream health and stuff, but I don't see a way to have the chat in there. And that would be helpful if I could. Okay, so I've given this guy some time. Okay, look at those fun bags. Oh, fun. Oh, okay. Okay, so now, okay, he was just getting his rocks off, and now he still said, please come back later. So my guess is I do have to trigger some sort of story moment before he'll retranslate it. Do I know where Kiefer is? He left the shrine, right? I feel like this is around the time when my uncle should show up, but his house is empty. He poked me with some weird rock. Okay, so one thing that happened, this guy in here said my uncle Hondara isn't paying rent and was trying to sell some wacky stone. So I wonder if I need to find him. Hondara wants half a year's rent. I heard that he owes money to people all around town. Oh, I'm so sorry, Hero. He's your uncle, isn't he? Yes, he is. Filled with women's clothing. Filled with women's clothing. Filled with women's clothing. So she gets 3 dressers. That's fair. That guy looks like he probably only ever wears the same cloak and robe. So I wonder if he's in here trying to sell stuff. Let's see. Speaking of which, the prince has been saying some pretty incomprehensible stuff lately. He was asking if there were any items for sale that are associated with the sun, so he bought one of my sun balls at the retail price of 3 gold, but I wonder what he's planning to do with it. It's just a toy. Sun balls. Okay. And now he told me, yeah, this. So, like, a lot of people are talking about my uncle, and my uncle in Reimagined does come up around here, around this point. So I don't know. Let's see. Where else might he be? Can I go in here yet? Maybe he's in the... Oh. Huh? Did you see something? Oh, yeah. Yes. I wonder what it is. Somebody must have dropped it in there. So I can go into the well. Oh. I wonder, like... This is the same in Reimagined. I wonder why you can't go in the well. Okay, I found a pearl. Is that a key item? I wonder why you can't go in the well sooner. Because in Reimagined, all you find is a small file, like an MP restoration item, I think. Whereas in this, you find a pearl. Maybe a pearl is more useful? Afraid the Prince Kiefer has been up to no good, but I'm sure the Prince wouldn't do anything about himself. It must be the fault of his friend. Hey. Let's go into the church. I'm like just really like trying to find my friend Kiefer, or my uncle. I think one or the other. Oh wait, that looks like my uncle. Look at that guy. He looks like he's up to no good. There he is. I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. See, I've got a present for you here. Hee hee. Here, touch it. Toasty warm, isn't it? That's why I call it the hot stone. It may look like some old rock, but it's very different inside. Kind of like me, isn't it? Hee hee hee. Hey, if it isn't Hero, you came at a good time. I need you to vouch for me to this young lady. Hick. While you do that, I'll go home and get some sleep. Hick. Yeah, he's a creep. Major creep. Hey, Hero. I'll let you pay for this one. Heh. Hick. I can't believe you thought I'd fall for him with that stupid stone. Sigh. He finally went back home. Don't worry, Hero. I'll just put the bill on his tab. Sometimes I wonder what Borcano thinks of Hondara. I don't think he can just come right out and say what he's thinking. Okay, but, haha, I think that probably progresses things a bit. I'm gonna go save again. There he is. Let's talk to him. Something fell out of Hondar's pocket and tumbled onto the floor. It's gigantic. Hero checked underfoot. He found a hot stone. As you can see, this whole like X being the menu and triangle being like a context sensitive like interaction button is like messing me up. I open up the menu way too much. I am playing on Duck Station and emulator, so like if I were to stick with this game for longer, I would remap the buttons in the emulator just to make, you know, circle, cancel, X, interact, triangle being the menu. I'm not going to mess around with that today, but oh, I got a hot stone. So in return it to Hondara, no. In Reimagined, I think it's Kiefer just has that. They call it the Sizzle Stone. Whereas in this game, you have to actually get it from your uncle. I don't think I want to return it to him. But it's called the Sizzle Stone. It's hot, like the sun. Maybe Kiefer wants it for the shrine. Let's see. Ha ha ha. Hot stone. Warm stone ball. Hero placed the hot stone on the end of the statue's staff. Looks like nothing happened. Hero slipped the hot stone into his pocket. There's a note from Kiefer attached to the statue. Hero. How goes it? I've tried everything, but nothing's worked. I'm curious whether you have discovered anything. Please return to my room at the castle. Haha. Look at that. Actual instruction on what to do. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. I don't even know which is his room at the castle. What I do know is that in Reimagined, if you take him back to the castle, he kind of gets in a fight with his dad, and then you take him back to the castle. Or no, his dad's looking for him. That's it. And if you take him back to the castle, then he talks to his dad gets mad, and then he gets mad. Kiefer gets mad at you, which is kind of cute. Because he's like, what are you doing? Like, why did you bring me here? In Reimagined, it explains that, like, part of the, like, royal custom is that the castle belongs to the people of Esther. So, like, you can come into the castle, you can roam around everywhere except the king's bedroom, basically. So he's asking me where the scroll is. You gave it to that old man on the cliff. That's brilliant. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Let's go. Maybe he found something. Hey, Kiefer joined the party. So we're headed back now to the cliff guy with Kiefer in tow. Nope. Wrong house. I wonder why you can give that hot stone thing back. I find that kind of odd. Guess this guy just hangs out in his basement. I don't know why you'd have like a remote, like secluded cabin and then just hang out in the basement the whole time. But Oh, you're back. I just finished deciphering the ancient text. What? You deciphered it? So what does it say, old man? Hey, who are you? Oh, you must be that prince. From what I can tell, the shining light in this picture has nothing to do with the sun. It has nothing to do with the sun? Oh, that's good. I was laughing about how Kiefer was like determined that it had something to do with the sun, even though there's like no evidence for it. So I like that. The glowing passion of the heart of the chosen one. Chosen by whom, old man? The chosen one who created the ruins. So time travel is a big part of Dragon Quest VII. I wonder if it turns out that like my main character goes back in time and creates the ruins. That's kind of fun. Chosen one, stand before the philosopher at the door and pray with all your heart. When he sees your purity, the path that you must tread shall be revealed. So all it is for a chosen one like myself to wish for the door to open. So Kiefer thinks he's the chosen one. I don't think that's true. Okay, so we're headed back to the shrine for the chosen one to pray before the philosopher, because, you know, philosophers are deities that we pray to. The queen requests your presence. Please come with us. My father? Forget it. It'll just be more of the same from him. So they've been sent to retrieve the prince. Okay, so... Ooh, look at that. So Kiefer's back at my house. Locked him in his room. So yeah, no, they do have the fight. It's a little different in Reimagined, but it's all still there. So we are off to the shrine now that Kiefer has escaped. Whoops. Okay, so here's the philosopher to whom I'm supposed to pray. Let's go. Gotta be something in these ruins. I just know it. I don't care what lies ahead. I'm ready for anything. Yep. They prayed together as one. Like, romantic. Oh, look at... Alright. We're doing it. We got the shrine open. Something strange carved into the floor. Some kind of ancient handwriting is carved here. you see that? It looks like some form of ancient script. It's too bad we can't read it. Let's see what else we find down here. One of the like things that Reimagine does, and I assume the 3DS version does as well, is the old man on the cliff is sort of like, he's been trying to discover the secret of this shrine for his whole life also. And you know, that's why he's motivated to help Kiefer and the hero figure it out. Whereas in this, he's just sort of generic, grumpy old guy. The shrine is far bigger as well in this version. In the other version, you walk in and you just get exactly where you need to be. Protector of the Helmet. Somehow the hero was able to read the ancient script. One thing that's touched upon in like optional dialogue is that there was some crazy like story about Hero's birth back in the day. It doesn't really like tell us exactly what that means, but it does it does come up. And so like obviously, chosen one, like kind of story. There's more going on here than him just being a lowly fisherman, but it is a fairly typical story. Oh yeah, this shrine is far different than it is in Reimagined, and from what I recall from the 3DS version as well, I do love that water. Look at that. That's really that's slick. And like playing this on a CRT, I bet that water looks magical. Okay, so that door is shut, but there's a stairwell. This is like a whole dungeon. Crazy. Yeah, and again, in the new version, you like walk in that first door that opens, and you're just like at the main spot, like that where you spend like a lot of the game. Can I push this? Can I like push it? Oh, no. Oh. This is really slippy slidey. Okay, there we go. Okay. What's in this door though? Ooh, what did I get? 10 gold. Love how there's like a dedicated room and treasure chest that's been sitting there for like how long? Thousands of years? Hundreds of years? And you open it up and it's got 10 gold. For whatever reason. Let's see. Do I need to now bring this out? I guess so. Puzzles. Say what you will about these sorts of puzzles, but there is something about grid-based RPG puzzles that I just can't help but love. Except when I can't. Aidan. I was gonna say, except when I can't push the blocks, and now I've messed this all up. Here. No. Is there? Well, I don't even know what's the benefit of doing this. I don't actually think I needed to do this part. Okay, I can get them all pressed. Is that what I need to do? How do I get that thing to open? This dungeon's wild. It's so, like, non-linear and strange. Oh, I see. Look at it. If I step on that, it lifts this gate. Ew. Okay. Like, there's just no explanation for any of this stuff. It's kind of You don't see dungeons like this anymore. You know, and so earlier I was talking about how, like, you know, there is benefit to games like, you know, RPG styles like this, right? Like, you have something that's, you know, so I need to, I think that works. You know, you just have these sort of like crunchy, like D&D style, like logic puzzles that are harder to replicate in, you know, RPGs in the style of Final Fantasy VII, for instance. Oh, it says the door is locked. Oh, I solved the puzzle and I didn't even get to do the thing. No idea where I am or where I'm going. This looks good though. Whoa, look at that guy. Oh, I got it's like the Dune box. This is hardcore. Uh-oh. A rusted key inside. I got the ancient key. Maybe that opens that other door. I don't want to fall down there. I want to go check out that other door. The goblin door. Aha, it worked. Ooh, look at more puzzles. Some sticks. It leads towards sun. If you have lost your way, travel and follow the golden sun. Okay. Mural of 4 trees. Is this like a maze? Oh, I see. Okay, I've got to study that, like, thing. Let's see. Okay. So, left, right, left? Is that... Oh, wait. Maybe it's, like, the leaves. Let's see what this says again. All trees must sprout their leaves toward the sun. Okay, so it's like left, right, left, left. The leaves on the branches were sprouting on certain sides, which I assume correlates to the path through this little maze. So maybe Kiefer was right. Maybe the sun is the key for Kiefer. The Kiefer, get it? The key for the shrine. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, this is not like none of this stuff is in Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. So this is an area where they have streamlined things significantly. So not maybe it's so like a bit in narrative structure, but like significantly in like world design. Like the world is much smaller. Your path through, like the critical path, seems a lot more condensed as well. Which, you know, depending on what you want from your RPGs, is good or bad, or both, or neither. But so far, I would say both ways, you know, like both experiences feel, you know, satisfying, interesting, just for different reasons. How do I put that on there? There we go. Oh, this is gonna like, okay, divert the water. I should have probably figured that out. So now that raft should be going. The dragons that serve God live and die by the holy light of the crystal. Okay. Some serious business. Snake Eater. Expect the Snake Eater theme to start playing. I'm on a boat. Ooh, can I get off? Yeah, look at. Ooh. Life acorn. I'm gonna give that to Kiefer. Naturally gonna load all of my stat upgrades onto Kiefer because he's a cool guy. He's a key for victory. The Great Pillars can reveal both legends forbidden and paths forsaken. Place the images in their proper places and your way will be revealed. I guess it's the idea that I can't see. Oh. Oh. Okay. What are these? There's a hole in the green pillar. Do you want to look inside? What the? Okay. Oh, I'm seeing what's on the walls. Like dancing guys? This is strange. Okay. I can look inside this one now. This is weird. Here examined the pillar, but there was no hole on this side. Oh, I see. Oh my gosh, okay. A merfolk? Well, like, here's a look at the wall and see. Okay, I just don't know what to do with this information. Great pillars can reveal both legends. Place the images in their proper places. Your way will be revealed. Oh, I see. That's like... That's like the viewport or whatever. So that's the merfolk thing. Okay, bow and arrows. Or this might be the enemy, guys. This is not digging this. It's like a golem. Like bow and arrows. A golem. Tornado. Okay, that's tornado. Golem. Am I supposed to, like, compare it against what I see on the wall? Okay. So, like a merfolk thing, yeah. And that's like a golem. Like a golem. Uh-huh. Green one is this tornado. Uh-huh. And so, like, what does this do? Red. Bow and arrows. So that one points to... Okay. Blue points to the merfolk. Oops. Is there any, like... Paths forsaken. Place the images in their proper places, and your way will be revealed. Is it just that I'm supposed to try to get them all standing at the same time? That must be it. Is that possible? I feel like I can't get more than 2 up at a time, though. I have no idea what to do with this. Get it in the right information. Can I turn these? The Great Pillars can reveal both legends forbidden and paths forsaken. Place the images in their proper places, and your way will be revealed. How do I place images in their proper places? I wonder how long those plays. Oh, that's not helpful. Okay, I don't really know what is happening here. This might be it, guys. So if I look through the pillar, I see some bow and arrow guys, which matches up with what I see over there. Can I... Well, I don't know. Maybe there's... Do I have an item I can use? The painting is amazing. I guess it's depicting the saints fighting the monsters. Okay. Ancient key, life acorn, hot stone. But nothing happened. Pearl orb. But nothing happened. It's the saints fighting the monsters. Which, like, that's cool. Good stuff. But, like, what does that mean? Can I push them? I doubt it. Now I know why this opening takes so long. It's a puzzle. Okay. Ay caramba. I wonder if there's like one of these that I can look through even when it's being blocked. So let's block each of them. Right. So okay, this one's being blocked. Can I look through this? Yeah, so yellow is blocked. Nothing can be seen. Okay. Yellow is blocked. Look at here. Red skin or green will be blocked. Okay. Oh, red, yeah. So, that one can't be blocked. This one's at an angle. So what does that mean? Slimes. A merfolk. There's no hole on this side. Can I look at this hole? But I feel like... So, like, is this the one? But, like, I just can't interact with anything in here. So I'm just, like, I'm just a little puzzled. Yeah, all the other ones look towards other pillars, except for this one. Can I... That blue one's at an angle, so, like, what does that mean? Oh my gosh, I don't know, guys. This is... I'm seeking help. I'm seeking help. Let's do this. I think I've spent more time on this puzzle than I've spent on the rest of the whole thing. Okay, that's just not 3DS. I don't want a 3DS one. Okay. I'm a dum-dum. Okay. I'm being presented with information there, but I must have missed somewhere else where the actual information is used. which makes sense because ew. Oh my gosh, how can I cut that part out of the stream before everyone catches up? Ooh, Saint's sword. That's cool. So everyone just pretend that I didn't spend half an hour jamming my head against a puzzle I was never going to solve because I was in the wrong spot. Not info. Prince, sex man. Okay. Can I give that sword to Hero? Give an herb to Keith. And then give Hero. And then can Hero equip it? Get some of those style points back. Where is it? Biscuits today. Hero can't use it. Kiefer's got to use it, I guess. Okay. He doesn't even have a weapon. Sorry. Oh. Saint Sword just can't be equipped. Alright. Okay. Man, how would I remember all of that after traveling this far? Insanity. I don't even know, like... Oh, treasure. Ooh. Oh, it's Saint Shield. I see. I'm just gathering, like... fancy items. Ooh, stairs. Stairs down. Man, you do not get dungeons like this anymore. That is for sure. Hey, look where I am. I'm back here. Huh. Oh. I see. This is where I started. Okay. This is thrilling steaming. Aidan doesn't know where to go. Aidan's lost. Excellent stuff. I think I've probably got about... Well, let's see. How long have I been playing at this point? I have not got into a battle. That was the big thing. 2 hours and 6 minutes. So I think I'll probably wrap up at 2.5 hours. So in like 20 minutes or so. Because I can only... make you suffer through so much of this. Aha. Okay. Look at this. Tornado was green. I remember that. I think the golem was yellow. I'm gonna just assume the fisherman fish, like the merfolk, was blue? Because it's the ocean. Okay. Something knocked. Ha 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 ha. There were some slimes. I think it was... There were definitely slimes. I don't know if it was that thing. No. Uh-oh. Aha! I did it. Half an hour looking at those walls. And I did it. I got the Saint's armor. I can see why they cut this part out of Reimagined. I don't know, would this be better with combat? Like, truly better? If I was fighting battles in between all, like, solving all these puzzles? One of the things that I, like, really like is when games recognize that, like, combat and puzzles shouldn't mix, right? That they should be like exclusive of each other, so that if you are in an area where you're expected to solve puzzles, you're not then also expected to compete in random battles in those same spaces. Because that sucks when that happens. And so being able to either cut out random battles in puzzle rooms, so you have kind of dedicated puzzle rooms, or you just sort of have combat focused areas, or you just do this and it's all just puzzles, and why not? I have all the Saints armor. I don't know where to go with it now, though. Oh my gosh, I can see the stream playback, and you guys are about to hit the point where I embarrass myself tremendously. So I got Saint's armor there. What do I do with all of it? Oh, I probably put it back on the Saint. That's what I do with it. The statue. That's why there's a shortcut. Yeah, that's why there's a shortcut back to the beginning. That makes a lot of sense. Ha ha ha. I hath redeemed myself. Are these the saints? No. But maybe maybe I just actually have to present them. Okay. To the door. Mysterious power seems to be sealing this shut. How many pieces of saint? The first saint, second saint, third saint, fourth saint. So I need to get the 4 pieces of saint's armor. Does it get put on the statue guy? Oh my gosh, where am I? Almost looks like it's guarding the flame. Oh, I can put it out. Oh, hey. Okay. Okay. One of these is going to have some sort of like stairwell or something behind it. Look at that. Uh-huh. There, now I've got 4 pieces of Saints equipment for the 4 Saints. So I think that door will open now. Okay. So I can't use it. The 3rd saint. Can I like... I can't equip them. Aha, here we go. Okay. I wonder if it has to be in a certain order. Oh my gosh, how would I know what order to put them on? No. So how do I know what order? Where would I find that information? I'm the guardian of the flame. When it sputters out, I'm here to rekindle it. I'm the protector of the helmet. I assume there's like... There's obviously something that tells me the order, but where is it? Oh, this looks important. Have I not seen this before? Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, first thing. Armor. So it's armor. So armor, sword. Armor, sword, helmet. Wait. Oh, armor, something, helmet, sword. Armor, shield, helmet, sword. Okay. Armor, shield, helmet, sword. Shield, helmet, sword. Yeah. Got it. Hey, I got the okay. Armor, shield, helmet, sword. I put the wrong thing on. Okay, armor. Shield. Helmet. Oh my gosh. I did it. I did it. I believed in myself this whole time. I knew I could do it. What's this? Is this a safe spot? Adventure journal. Oh yeah. Make a different save. Because that's just the way I am. I wonder, okay. Yes. There's a save spot. Does that mean I'm finally going to fight a battle? How long has it been? 2 hours and 19 minutes. Oh my gosh, more puzzles. That's not a battle. Can okay, the door is sealed by a mysterious power. There's so many mysterious powers. So, like, we are definitely seeing where a lot of the extra length and padding from this version of the game comes from. Which is honestly kind of wild that none of this exists in like Reimagined. And I don't remember a lot of this from I don't remember a lot of this from the 3DS version either. Like, okay. There's like just no. So red is a sword. And a sconce. Can I light his sconce? Oh, I lit the wrong sconce. Brazier. Okay. Ooh, I see, I see. Okay. So... Aha. I'm doing it. It's happening. It's happening, guys. Okay. Like, this is... I feel like nowadays, any one of these puzzles would be like the primo, like, puzzle for a dungeon. If you even got anything, like, close to this in a game. And I like it. I don't know. It's good. I'm enjoying this. Except for that one room. That I'm looking at the playback of the live stream and I'm still somehow in that room. Which is just not cool, guys. Oh my gosh, look at me go. Got a big torch. Can I bring it with me? Ooh, look at a stone tablet. This is what I'm looking for. I got another one. Land shard. What's that dirty looking shard? Oh, wait, I remember seeing a drawing of a shard like this in an ancient tome. What do we got? To those who might seek out the lost world, the world was divided into 4 sources, remaining that way to this day. Return the artifacts to their rightful place. Only then will the world reveal its true character. Okay. The door. Where does this take me? Ooh, this is cool. Okay. Hey, look at. So, So I'm at the pedestals, which is like where you just like when I enter the shrine in the new version, reimagined, I just enter into the like this area. There might be like a room, but instead of all of this like puzzle solving, like that insane, puzzle that took me an embarrassingly long time. You just go there. You just go. It's a beautiful thing. That looks like it should fit there, doesn't it? Okay, so I need one more. Well, looks like we're missing one shard. It took us a long time to gather the ones we already have. What should we do now? You can investigate a little further or go back to town. It's your choice. Okay, but like there's got to be a shortcut, right? Found the world map. Oh. Hey. Okay. So yeah, they're like this. Obviously, well, I guess it's not that far. Held shut. Not that far to get out at this point. But look at this one's got a fire. Let's go in here. What is this? Ooh. What does this do? I pressed a... Oh, there we go. Look, hero, this is the cave we used to explore. Okay, so there's a shortcut. Cool. So I'm back in Pilchard. This feels like a reasonable time to wrap up. I need one more tablet, which I think I probably get from my dad. I bet he's getting back from his fishing trip right now. Like, even this, like, is multiple screens long, which does feel, you know, excessive. Instead of just, you know, like getting... Oh. Okay, so Kiefer's heading back to the castle. We're looking for more shards. See what information we can suss out. So, we're splitting up. I think that this is a good time to wrap up this stream. I'm losing a bit of steam. That last dungeon was bananas. In a good way, except for that one puzzle. But I think this is a good place to wrap it up. We'll see if I come back and play some more Dragon Quest VII. We'll save at the church. And I'm really curious to hear from you. You know, did you play Dragon Quest VII back in the day? Did you play the 3DS version? What are your thoughts on the upcoming reimagined re-release? Did you play the demo like I did? What are your, you know, thoughts about Dragon Quest's future as we kind of get closer and closer eventually to Dragon Quest XII, which was announced and teased years ago. I appreciate everyone stopping by, coming by to watch me play Dragon Quest VII for 2.5 hours and not fight a single battle. And I am very sorry about that one puzzle. That took me way too long. But thanks for coming. Hit that, what am I supposed to say? Hit that like button, subscribe, bang the bell, follow Fun Factor, tweet about us, spread the word. We got bills to pay. Thanks, everyone. Have an amazing afternoon and